Everyone, welcome to another edition of Founder Wisdom Podcast. Today we have Andrii with us. He is CEO at STEMI. He leads a nice medtech startup. We're going to talk about a lot of cool medtech stuff today. So, Andrii, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about STEMI?
Yeah, hi Charles. Well, my name is Andrii, as you said, and I'm the CEO of STEMI Global. What we do, how to say it quickly, let's look at it from the other side. Like every third person, every third one of us, every third one of your family, your friends, your colleagues, will die of heart attack or stroke. It's incredible, but every third person worldwide dies of coronary disease. The sad thing is that almost 50% of all of them will get a delayed treatment, often more than 1 hour, and that is doubling their chance of dying. And STEMI Global provides a communication platform for emergency situation, and by allowing the right doctors to talk to each other and share the relevant data, we have clinically proven to shorten the time to treatment by 60 minutes in heart attacks, and so reduce the chance of immediate death by 50%.
How did you get the idea to start this STEMI business?
Yeah, one of the co-founders is actually a leading cardiologist in Slovakia, and he was encountering the same problems every day. The ambulances were coming late, they were going to different hospitals, not right places. So the idea was born when the medical staff joined the IT people with a good idea, and like all the startups, we believe we have a great idea.
And you must have competitors. STEMI must have a bunch of competitors. What does STEMI different than other existing platforms out there?
Yes, there are some competitors, but the business is still playing field. All the competitors are quite small, similar to us, or a bit bigger or a bit smaller. The market is still open. We calculated only about 12% or 10% hospitals have similar solution operating. So it's still open. Yeah, and what we offer is different. We also go into the AI and analysis, and we also provide useful statistical tools like dashboards, connection into the existing electronic patients data. So we'll try to make the implementation as easy as possible and bring the maximum benefits, not just for the doctors, but also for the managers. Like, how should we manage in the future the ambulances? Where are the biggest costs? Where we can save money?
That's quite striking to see that only 10 to 12% of hospitals have systems like that. You know, when in 2022, you think that most of them have visual systems to save some time and probably save some lives. You know, why do you think that most of them haven't thought of a solution like STEMI?
Yeah, and in US the situation is slightly better. It's 14%. So, but still, you know, and the US is the best healthcare you can get, and it's still only 14% of the hospitals are actually able to directly communicate with the ambulances and help to make the decision for the ambulance where to go. I mean, there is a connection existing, but it's not the urgent type of communication. It's like just for purposes of later on, we can have a look in a database, but none of the systems actually allow the doctors to talk to right now. You know, I have a dying patient. What shall I do? Who shall I contact? I don't have a phone number. I don't have a name. We solved all that.
Yeah, and 14% is still strikingly low. I think, you know, doctors are good at doing what they're doing, you know, which is if I have a patient in front of me, saving his life as quick as possible, and they kind of don't really care about the part before them because they're so busy, so focused on doing their jobs, you know. So in an hospital, who's in charge of introducing new IT systems and technologies like STEMI?
Well, we initially go and talk to doctors, try to find like the people that get excited and help us to actually push on to managers of the hospitals. And then we use a different pitch where we actually show that we can save something like $600,000 annually per hospital. And, you know, so the solution is not just about saving lives, which is great, but it's also about the cost cutting on the hospital side. So we can talk, but we need to find somehow to get to the hospital to produce, because this is not a solution like a office. You know you need it and you go and buy it. This is something you don't know you need it. You work every day like you work, and you don't realize the things could be changed and improved. So it's first we need to go and educate and look. What you're doing is great, but it could be done better. We need to educate, and then we can bring in the system.
Yeah, education must be a huge part. And how long is the sales cycle? Because usually, you're dealing with governments and bureaucratic processes. So is it quite long to close a customer?
Yes and no. It depends. If it's a private sector like US, it's faster. It's 6 months. But if you're talking to governments, it could be anything up to 18 months.
I'm pretty sure keeping the app alive is a priority, because we're talking about a matter of life and death. How do you make sure that the app doesn't crash?
Well, we are IT guys, so yeah, the solution has been properly tested, implemented on the national level, and it's really just a matter of adjusting the size of the server. But we try to make the technology behind it as simple as possible. It's no overcomplication stuff, and it actually runs even on 3G. So even if the ambulance is somewhere a bit further out of the city in the rural area, still works, still.
How do you make the UX efficient? Because if they're in the ambulance, they don't really have time for their brain to make like quick decision, and they can mess up like a bunch of things, clicking buttons here and there. And same for doctors, because both need to communicate with one another. So how do you make sure to make the UX look as good as possible?
It's actually very easy. The simplest thing is you don't let the developers to do the app themselves, but we have quite a large advisory, not staff, but like helpers and people that are excited about the idea from the medical societies and medical practice that actually help us to build it. And they tell us, oh, this is important to know. We don't need to know. We don't need this button. We want only this little button because this is the next step. And you have to make it large enough because we have gloves and we are from blood. And, so the UX is done with the view of simplicity, of even sometimes of untrained people, because the paramedics are often not doctors and they don't really know what to do in the situation. So the application guides them through, and the UX was done together with the doctors.
In how many hospitals are you, and what's the pricing model? Like if I own an hospital, how much should I pay for your app?
Well, yeah, that's a kind of not public information, but it really, the price is a fraction of the cost that we save. So it's really affordable to compare to what you will get out of it in money wise. And it's charged depending on how many modules, because we deal with stroke, with heart attack, with COVID, with trauma, pediatrics, gynecology. So it depends how many modules we want to activate, and it's like annual license per hospital. You don't really pay for how many doctors you have, but it's an annual license per hospital, and the license depends for how many modules you are using of the app.
Okay, and in how many hospitals are you approximately right now?
Currently, the installation is around 70 hospitals. So still small area. We are in the startup phase where we want to expand into different countries, find the different regions. We made the app available also already in 8 languages, which did help a lot. And it's also with training portal, so it's very easy to adopt for the staff. It's like they just watch 30-minute videos and in their own language, and they know how to use it.
Well, 70 is still a big number, granted that there might be hundreds of staffs using the app per hospital, right?
Yeah. But there is still about over 100,000 hospitals that would be, benefiting could benefit from such a solution worldwide. So
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious as per why you decided a per year fee or an annual fee and not a user fee, because if it's a user fee, they would use the app more extensively, might need more IT support and urgent IT support in these cases. So why didn't you go per user?
Well, it was a strategic decision for making, if you're limited to user, the hospital might be tempted to exclude some doctors or some nurses or some technicians or some staff that is in operating theater. And what we want is to have as large adoption as possible, because when the year passes and they're going to decide whether to renew the license, there will be, positive feedback from the whole hospital, everybody that is using, yes, we want to keep it. So far this was the case. We had the doctors that were using it, the staff that is using it's quite excited. So for us, it's better because it keeps the hospital, in the line that they very likely renew the license.
What do you see when it comes to adoption rates? Because do you offer them a free trial?
It depends. We do free trials for some, if you go to a new country where there is no installation yet. And so we try to find one hospital that is like an early adopter, and we give them a couple of months or 3 months of trial, and then try to convert them to the paying customers. And once we are established in the given country, it's much, much easier. Like, hey, look, we are already here. It works in your country. It's this and this hospital is having. So the sell cycle is quite different than if you are first and new.
Yeah, and after, let's say that they have a trial, somewhat of a limited trial of the app, it must be quite hard for them to kind of make the jump, or is it not? Is it like, oh, they have zero technology to track that, and it's just they have STEMI and they might check the STEMI or use the STEMI or not? Is it that simple, or is it more life or death matter that if they're gonna use STEMI, they use it fully and 100%?
The initial installation is crucial. It's crucial where we need to set the metrics with customer, and we need to set the goals what we want to achieve in the trial, and then we need to really work and get it onboarded to the staff to use it. And then after 3 months, we go and see with the client, look, these were the KPIs, these were the goals, and we achieved this. We didn't achieve that. That needs to change. We need to adjust. And we give them complete evaluation so they see some real numbers. It's not just like, did it work, did not work. We always try to, as we move into the trial, we always try to set some clear, measurable results. Yeah,
that's super cool. And yeah, congrats on everything that you've accomplished with the app. I think there's a future in which, yeah, most hospitals use these kinds of apps to save more lives. I think it took more time than usual for hospitals to adapt to these technologies, like whether it's because they're so focused on health matters and disregard the IT/software part of things. But reading some stats on your website, you reduce secondary transportation by 62%. What is secondary transportation? Is it like them transferring me from one ambulance to the other for technical reasons? What is it?
No, it's transferring you from one hospital to the other, because they very likely they run you to the wrong hospital, because the ambulance, it's not the doctor in the ambulance, it's a paramedic, and he see you as a patient that has a problem and you are a hot potato for him. So for him, offload you as quickly as possible means running you to the nearest hospital. That might not be the right one to take you to.
Oh, so the hospital is not equipped to treat what I have, for example.
Well, if it's a heart attack, you need to go to cath lab. They actually clear the veins, and the same for stroke. You really need to go to the stroke center which has an able manual thrombectomy, so they can actually go into the brain. And if they go 10 miles that way, and then they realize they needed to go 20 miles the other way, we are losing a huge amount of time, which is every minute like in stroke, 2 million brain cells dies in your brain. So
Yeah.
it makes big difference.
Okay.
And hospitals are like banks 10 years ago. They are in dire need of digitalization and transformation.
Yeah, for sure. Where do you see the future STEMI? Do you feel it as me ordering an ambulance like I would order a Uber?
It's interesting you said, because we are actually trying to move into the B2C segment also. We're developing new application for general public. It will be initially aimed mainly for people who already suffer stroke and heart attack, so they are at a high risk of it happening again. And it's interesting, but we are saving 1 hour on ambulances, but average person wastes 2.5 hours before calling the ambulance if he has a heart attack. It's a machoism. It's kind of, I don't want to bother. I'm not sure. It's 2.5 hours. So we are designing the app that with the help of AI, we will try to diagnose the stroke or heart attack directly from your cell phone. You can self-diagnose, and we will help you to make the decision. Hey, do not wait. Call the ambulance right now.
Yeah, I feel that companies like Apple heading into biotech will kind of have that feature. They'll measure your heartbeat, temperature, and even blood glucose and so forth. And they might alert you and, just swipe for a goddamn ambulance, if you have all the symptoms.
Yeah, but it's very different because they measure some vital functions of your body, but they do not tell you this data will not tell you if you have a stroke or heart attack. They can tell you about some arterial fibrosis, which is a special term, but it's nothing to do with the stroke or heart attack. But you may feel that something is not right, and simply by taking picture of your face, we can recognize the tiny paralysis of few nerves in your face, some facial paralysis, of which just you are not sure. And this AI can actually pick that this is not correct, it's not right, and you should call the ambulance.
Okay. Last questions is a bit personal. STEMI, like it's an urgency-based app, kind of. So you must be dealing with sometimes stressful situations as a CEO and so forth. Has it been the case, and how do you keep your calm as a CEO and keep getting shit done?
Well, I'm 44, so I already learned how to keep calm and not panic over things. But yeah, you need to be ready basically for any scenario, and you can never be for everything. But once something's happened, you need to solve the problem in a way that it will not happen again. Or if it happens again, everybody's ready and everybody knows what to do. So every time something's happened, you are minimizing the chance of happening something else new and unexpected. It just, yeah, you are never ready for everything, but each occurrence of something that's stressful and you are not prepared, you need to take action and prepare yourself for the future, things like that.
Well, Andrii, thank you so much for the interview today. Where can people find out more about you and STEMI?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Would people find out more about you on LinkedIn and your website?
Oh, yes. We are on LinkedIn, the STEMI Global. We have a website, stemiglobal.com. So, feel free to check our website, and also we have a website on the LinkedIn. And if you feel like it, you can write us a questions. We also look for collaboration from distributors or interested investors. So feel free to write.